Okay, let's talk about Wednesday. I'm obsessed with the show. I know I'm a little bit late to the party on this one, but I really wanted to be able to dive in and truly appreciate it. I have watched it 4 times now, and it will not be the last. So let's talk about the cast. Jenna Ortega, amazing. She's wonderful in everything I've seen her in. If you haven't watched You or Jane the Virgin, she is excellent in both of those. And fun fact, she actually choreographed the entire Wednesday dance scene. She took inspiration from 80s and 90s goth club videos, and she also did a nice little shout out to the original Addams Family TV series and a dance that Wednesday does on that. So I thought that was super cool and also really awesome of Jenna to be like, I got this. So when I first saw Fred Armisen as Uncle Fester, I was like, what, are we doing this? And then I watched him be Uncle Fester and I was like, yes, we are doing this and I am here for it. Bringing back Christina Ricci, yes, for people around my age, that was the quintessential Wednesday Addams. Despite some of the problematic things in the script, Christina Ricci nailed it. So since I mentioned the problematic things in the script, you guys remember the summer camp that she went to and the headdresses that were completely unacceptable then and now? Well, I feel like maybe they were trying to right some wrongs in the script, either that or just being decent and representative humans. There were a lot of indigenous rights, anti-colonial dialogue, shout outs to various indigenous cultures throughout, specifically in the fudge shop and the bees. So, and uses of honey. So we need more of that, obviously, but seeing it like it was natural and normal to talk about in the dialogue, I was like, yes, all right, making moves. Okay, back to the cast. Gwendoline Christie, so underrated. I know there are Gwendoline fans, but why isn't everyone a Gwendoline fan? She's phenomenal in absolutely everything. Now, the Addams Family themselves, I thought it was interesting that there was a culturally ambiguous woman cast as Morticia, because Angelica Houston got that as well when she was playing Morticia. Well, Catherine Zeta-Jones is oftentimes confused for being Spanish, or Hispanic of any sort, any flavor, sometimes Latina, but usually specifically Spanish because of roles she's been cast in previously. She's actually Welsh. But fun fact, the reason that a lot of Welsh people, or at least there's a genetic theory, the reason that a lot of Welsh people look like they're from the Iberian Peninsula, not Spanish, Basque. The Basque people, there was a big, diaspora migration into Wales at one point. So that's why a lot of people from Wales look like they could be from the Iberian Peninsula. Aside from Catherine Zeta-Jones, I loved that the rest of the Addams Family was very obviously a Latino family. That just made me really happy. Although there is speculation, and I don't know how true this is, but I have seen at least rumors and speculations circulating on the internet that the original Addams Family in creation was actually Romani. If anybody has any further info on that, please, please, please comment, because I am definitely intrigued. Okay, so while we're talking about representation, I wanted to talk about Bianca. I know a lot of people were frustrated that Bianca was yet again another black woman being stereotyped as the angry, bitchy, bad guy trope. I didn't even think that until I read that on the internet. So, I mean, if that's how it's perceived, then that's obviously not good. But what I saw was Bianca being a strong, self-aware, I don't take shit from anybody, I have boundaries, and I know who I am, and nobody's going to change that kind of personality. Very similar to Prudence in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And I thought that those two are two of my absolute favorite characters. So obviously let me know your thoughts, because I am against the angry black woman trope. I think it's absurd and ridiculous and overdone. But that's not how I saw Bianca. I saw her as just a role model. Also because Joy Sunday is phenomenal as well. BT Dubs, she's a black mermaid. How many people are going to get upset about that? But anyway, I loved Bianca's character. I loved Joy Sunday. And also shout out to Tati Gabrielle, who plays Prudence in Sabrina, because they are badass babes for sure. All right, so the language and the wordplay, throughout, is just genius to me. There are subtle little hints and names that they chose and words that they chose to mean specific things. I thought it was genius. So Enid is actually a Welsh name that means like lively, bubbly, like Enid's personality is the meaning of her name. And I thought that was wonderful. And I don't think there's any way that was a happy accident. They had to have done that on purpose. Also, Ophelia means, like Ophelia Hall means benefit. And it clearly benefited Wednesday to make friends with Enid. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know if I'm making things up or if that's like they did that on purpose, but I truly think that the real love story in this series so far is Enid and Wednesday. Like their friendship is like the purest form of a love story, and I am here for it. I also really appreciated the dark humor. Like it fits so perfectly, and some of it's really dark, but it's offset by like the vibrant colors. So like having it be a very, very dark concept, a dark color palette, except for like the pops of color. It's a whole vibe for me. Because I love color, but I also like the mysterious darkness, macabre kind of thing. I've always thought the combination of the two. I don't want to be the person that uses juxtaposition in a TikTok video, but I just did. I also thought it was genius that it was the high school clique, like pop culture type feel, but within a supernatural framework. Like that goes into the whole vibe for me. I thought it was awesome. So I've seen the internet being abuzz about the representation of neurodivergence on screen, and I think that's also incredibly important, but we have to be careful to do it correctly. And I loved Wednesday's character. I loved how it was portrayed. However, the sad part on that I've seen is that a lot of people in the neurodivergent community are like, well, yeah, she's great on screen and people support how she is and how she communicates because she's a character. She's not a real person, and we don't receive that same reaction in person. So that part is sad. But I do think the more representation that we see for the neurodivergent community on screen, maybe things will get better. I am pessimistically hopeful. Okay, so another thing that I've seen the internet talking about is that why are we doing so many remakes? Why this, why that? You should have just left it alone. This is too far away from the original. And then other people are like, oh, this represents the original in so many ways, or this takes, snippets from this and bits and pieces from that and puts it together in a more modern framework that is relatable to current generations. I am personally a fan of a remake if it is done well. And being done well doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be identical to the original. This one was more inclusive. It was more representative. It was more diverse. Some of it was a lot darker. I know Wednesday's character is different than the TV series. But for people around my age, we got to see that Wednesday, and now younger generations get to see a new Wednesday and all of the characters. Also, whoever played Thing, I forget his name. Bravo. But anyway, I love remakes because it introduces classic characters to new generations over and over and over again. And it's something that generations can talk about and share, even if their opinions differ and the characters are different. I think preserving the classics in any way, I think it's awesome.